All of you. Viewers, I am here with a webinar on biologics review. So biologics, as you know, they are biological products. So these biotechnological products are generally larger in size, complex and diverse in nature. So if you see this biologics, if you compare one aspirin or acetyl salicylic acid as it is called with erythropoietin and EPO, the size difference is very large. EPO is a larger molecule with more than 1000 atoms and a molecular weight greater than 10,000 Daltons. So contrast to that, acetyl salicylic acid has a molecular weight of less than 500 Daltons. So given this complexity, if you see, demonstration of a product comparability can be extremely difficult. So in this webinar, I will highlight you on what basis a biological product, that is a biologic, will be going for a production cycle and how that process of review is done to get an approval for marketing that product. So welcome you once again and let us continue. In FDA's use of the term comparability, it generally refers to the comparison of a biological product before and after a manufacturing change by the manufacturer. So a sponsor may be able to demonstrate that a product is. So another distinguishing feature or characteristic of biotechnology products and these small molecules is their heterogeneity. So since biologics are products made with a number of living cells, a number of in vivo modifications can occur in that product. It may be because of glycosylation, where carbohydrates combine with protein to form a protein, or proteolysis can occur where direct degradation of proteins can occur, or an acylation can occur where a hydrogen atom in an organic compound is replaced by an acyl group, or sulfation can occur where the transfer of sulfonate to a protein occurs. So in addition to these, there can be intentional modifications that are used in the design of biotech products. Rather than what is happening within the product, there can be some other changes which are brought in about in the process or in the process of making this product. So it may be pegylation, where the chemical attachment of polyethylene glycol is connected via a linker molecule. So, or a proteolysis can occur, the process in which a protein is broken down partially into peptides or completely into amino acids. So, in some cases, this pegylation renders a compound effective as a therapeutic purpose, whereas the unmodified form has only limited use in the clinical. So, drug conjugation can also occur, whereas the covalent modification of a protein with a small molecule, that is, if you take an example, conjugation of a monoclonal antibody with the cytotoxic drug molecule. So in some cases, manufacturers may use radio labeling, wherein the incorporation of a radioactive isotope within a molecule occurs. So keeping these features in mind, so the unique characteristics of the biotechnology product is the diverse source of expression systems and raw materials used in their manufacturing. So apart from whatever I have highlighted in the introduction, there are some other major things which we have to focus when we go for a biologics review. Then this may be expression systems, may be in transgenic animals or eukaryotic and prokaryotic expression systems. So products are made in the cells of mice, for example, or there may be human cells or human cell derived cell lines that can be used in cell culture, and there are serum derived products developed in human cells and they are used for. So there are hundreds of pre-licensed files for products in clinical development for a wide range of users. So if you see the FDA regulation, products already on the market, how it has been classified, it's based on two types, that is the BLAs and the NDAs. So BLAs stands for Biologics License Applications, whereas NDAs for New Drug Applications. So each speech expression system, if you see, needs to be appropriately be controlled. So because there is a potential for transmission of adventitious agents, bacteria, viruses, plasmas, mycoplasmas, fungi, and other transmissible agents which get into the product. So as a result, there is expressed need for in-process control and validation to ensure the safety of biological products. So a major aspect of proteins, if you see, is the stability. So if you see a product is much stabler, means the proteins in it are very stabler. So these are the unique considerations for the stability of biologics. They are heat sensitive, susceptible to microbial contamination also. So there must be a controlled temperature during the production, aseptic processing throughout the process, and the product cannot be terminally sterilized. That means from the starting, from the raw material procurement till the finished product, the sterilization process or the sterile in place should be. So the pharmacokinetics of biologics, if you see, they are not very well established. For example, if a company or a manufacturing firm is looking at the PK of a protein, there is not a definitive assay. So to tell that whether the molecule is in the serum or it can have a challenging effect to define the pharmacokinetics. So metabolism is also one of the aspects we have to keep in mind, because as it associates with the identification of the PK of a biologic. So one more major challenge of a biologic is assessing the potential immunogenicity which is desirable in a vaccine strategy. So example for a developing a human COVID vaccine. So whether it is how its potential immunogenicity can alter the pharmacokinetics of the therapeutic, and it may cause allergic reactions. So if a company is developing an endogenous therapeutic protein and the patient mounts an immune response to it, so that the therapeutic protein which crosses to the endogenous therapeutic protein, these outcomes create an cross reactivity to a normal essential protein which have a profound safety impact. So these are the limitations of non-clinical studies for biologics. So it depends on species specific to the biologic in nature. So if a firm develops a human protein that does non-clinical studies in primates or rodents, the primate or the rodent will mount an immune response against that human protein. So this step is a limiting factor for the applicability of non-clinical also. So keeping all these factors in our mind and in control, so the differences between new drug applications and the biological license application I will go through. So there are many similarities between the NDAs as well as the BLA. NDAs and BLAs have regulations, guidance documents, and they fall under the Prescription Drug User Fee Act. So if you see, the patent and pediatric exclusivity are unique to both NDAs, and content and filing criteria regulations are more detailed in nature. So BLAs have more regulations related to the manufacturing facility, and the product in the facility must meet certain standards prior to being So two key conditions must be met before approval. The applicant consents to an inspection of the facility. Each package of a biological product must bear a US license number. Both conditions reflect a greater emphasis on the process and facility given the complexity of biologic products. So as outlined in the 21 CFR 601.2 clause D, approval of a BLA or issuance of a biologics license shall constitute a determination that establishment or establishments and the product meet applicable requirements to ensure the continued safety, purity and potency of such products, including but not limited to GMP. Some standards for biologics are generally described in this code. So CFR 21 section 600 clause 3N defines standards as specifications and procedures applicable to an establishment or to the manufacture or release of products which are prescribed in this subchapter or established in the BLA designed to ensure the continued safety, purity and potency of such products. So specified biologics are a subset of biologics described in the Code of Federal Regulations. So these specified biologics are for therapeutic DNA derived products, monoclonal antibodies for in vivo use, synthetic peptides, so therapeutic DNA plasmid products. So most of these biological products, so the CDR actually regulates this as specified biologics. These specialized biologics are exempt from general safety tests if you see. So there are more beneficial tests for specified biologics. So in general safety tests, the product is administered to the rabbits or rodents and then their impact on weight gain is assessed. So the packaging or labeling requirements are harmonized with NDA regulations for specified biologics. So the official lot release is generally implemented. So if you see the BLA approvals, with first time BLA approvals if you are going, the product and facility are approved and the company is issued a given a license number. The approval letter states that FDA issues the license in accordance with all regulations governing manufacturing of the product. So the license authorizes the sponsor to introduce products into interstate commerce that the company has demonstrated to be in compliance with the facility and the product standards. So license approval is an important milestone in the life of the product. So these are the whole gist of the BLA and the NDA approvals. But after approval, there are a variety of other regulatory requirements which the sponsor or the company manufacturer has to keep in mind. It is annual reports, post-marketing commitment status, adverse event submissions, distribution summary submissions, biologic deviation reports, advertising and promotional labeling submissions. So periodic current good manufacturing practice inspections are also coming under this after approval. So usually it may be every other year, but the frequency is a function of the risk assessment as performed, and the firm must report any manufacturing and